Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Onstage Blog Theater podcast. And this is the show where we love talking all things Broadway, and it's really fun. And today we are celebrating the debut of Hamilton on the big screen. So that's so exciting. It took 5 years after its early debut during the pandemic on Disney Plus, and now everybody gets to see it on the big screen, which is so exciting. And so we thought it would be fun in honor of Hamilton on the big screen to talk about our favorite Broadway musicals based on true stories or true people, true events. And so we have our top 10 lists. We definitely would love to hear your picks and what you think of our picks. And I am theater critic Rachel Wagner, and Jacqueline Collier is here.
Rachel, when you told me the idea for this episode, I was so excited. I think this is going to be a really fun one to dive into, and even putting the list together was fun.
Yeah, it really was. And I tried to not pick anything that was like too much of a flight of fancy, like it's not a musical, but I wouldn't have picked something like Shakespeare in Love, because it's
Right.
obviously like, yes, he's
Yeah.
a true person, but it's a fake story. So something like that I wouldn't have picked. And so, and it also had to be my list. It had to be something that I've actually seen.
Mhm.
So there were a couple heavy hitters that I actually haven't seen. I've never seen Gypsy. I've never seen Sunday in a Park with George. So anyway, there were some of those that might be on other people's lists that I've never seen. Floyd Collins, I've never seen. So
Mhm.
that probably will change my list compared to other people's list.
Trying to see if I've seen all of them on my list. There's one I haven't seen, but when we get
Yeah.
to it, I'll explain why it's on my list.
Well, and we didn't have those. It's not like we had those parameters up front. So everybody's list will be different. That's just what I did
Yeah.
going into it. And I mean, how do you feel in general? Do you think it adds something to the musical when it is based on a true story?
I do. I mean, I think that there's something that's fascinating about then returning to the source material or returning to what it was inspired by, and you just get this very interesting holistic experience. I don't think for me it necessarily makes it something that I want to see more or less. I think it just in fuller it gives you a fuller experience
Yeah.
um to
It
engage
just
with the
can be
material.
it can be a nice layer that they can
Yes.
add to it, and
Yes.
especially with something like Hamilton, it's nice because it's it's taking our history, like some true stories are, you're introducing history, you're introducing people that maybe we didn't know about, that we're now we're
Yeah.
learning about. But then other times, like with Hamilton, you're adding a layer of understanding to historical figures that we're probably aware of.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
so that's nice. So let's dive in. Let's talk about our top 10. So why don't you start? What is your number 10?
My number 10 is Six.
Mm,
Uh, it's fun. You know, we get the story of the six wives of Henry VIII. This modern pop, concert twist on it all. It's really fun. To me, because it really is like a concert, that's why it's at number 10. Like you
yeah.
do get an interesting thing in the story, but it's not like I think you're really doing a deep dive, but it's a lot of fun, and it definitely inspired me to read a little bit more about Henry VIII and Anne Boleyn and to dive a little bit deeper into the history. So that is my number 10. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, it's very, very popular. It's one of the biggest hits, in recent years. So that's great for that. It wasn't my favorite. I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it. So I get it. I get it. My number 10 is actually I have Tina. It's just your classic musical bio type story. It's got the rise to fame and the travails that happen.
Mhm.
But I think it executes all of those predictable notes very well, and has all those entertaining songs. And when I saw it, so I saw it with Adrian Warren, in the lead, and she was incredible, so good. And I couldn't believe it. Like at the end, she comes on and does two encores after this like marathon of a thing. I couldn't believe that she still had it, the juice in the tank to do two encores. That was very impressive. So overall, it was I thought it was a satisfying night of theater.
I That's actually my number 9 and the one that I
Okay.
alluded to that I haven't seen yet. So the reason it's
Okay.
on my list is because our friend who's also been on the pod, Seren Villanueva, she was on tour with Tina, and I've seen so many clips. I've listened to the soundtrack numerous times, but didn't get to see it. I do think that after talking with her about it, and I'm a big fan of Tina Turner, of her life. I think her story is very compelling. Also, exactly what you're saying, like that ending, like how do they have the gas in the tank to do it? And afterwards, like my friends are in, like she's a real badass, but she was like, that show breaks you. Like you are, it is like you're an athlete. Like that is what's happening there. And I mean, it
Yeah.
is incredible that those performers can do that. So that is my number 9, even though it's the only one on my list that I haven't actually
Mm.
seen.
Yeah. Well, my number 9, and I realized that this is a very like loose telling of the story. I don't think this is like the most historically accurate telling, but I have Newsies at 9.
Oh yeah.
That I think it's a good way, even if again it's fast and loose with the details of the actual newsboys. The strike is real. The strike happened, and I think that it's a good way of teaching kids about labor and about the value of labor over history and what they did to during that, especially that time, to create safe work environments for kids. And I think it's a very entertaining show. I admit that I have a lot of nostalgia for
Yeah.
Newsies, both movie and show. The I think the songs are quite catchy. Carrying the Banner, Seize the Day, those songs. And I think they did some things to actually improve upon the movie when they adapted it. That getting rid of the Bill Pullman character, I think was a smart move. There's they don't need you don't need a conduit to tell the story. You should just have
Yes.
them telling their story, things like that. So I think they did a good job with that adaptation, which isn't always the case with Disney. And so I think, even though there'll be people that will roll their eyes at me having it on here because I know it's not historically the most historically accurate, I think that it's still a pretty decent history tool and a entertaining show.
I'm not rolling my eyes at you. I'm rolling my eyes at myself because I kind of wish I'd put that on my list and I didn't. I really like Newsies.
Yeah, it's
Yes,
fun.
the movie, of course, was one of the shows I saw very early on in New York when I moved here. I love Newsies.
Yeah,
I think that's a great pick.
yeah, and it's a great show for lots of different choreography. Of course, you've got the newspaper tap dance, King of New York, scene, and things
Yes.
like that that are iconic. And so uh, it's just a satisfying show on a lot of levels because you've got
Hmm.
the good songs, the good dancing, the good, good story, things like that.
Yes.
So what do you have next?
I have MJ the musical. Um, this one to me was just so fun. I think that there's lots of things that surround Michael Jackson's life that um can be a lot to dig into, and we don't know exactly what happened, and there's lots of things there that are a little bit more serious to dive into, but the musical itself is so much fun. And when I saw it on Broadway, the actors were just so compelling. The dance was so great.
Yeah.
Like it was just a really good time. And I left the theater just feeling like really invigorated.
Yeah, I've seen it, and I think that they did just about as good a job as you could do. If
Yeah.
that's what they decided to do. I don't know if there's a better actual musical about Michael Jackson if they weren't doing the Mamma Mia route, and
Right.
taking his songs. And um if it were me, I kind of wonder if they should have just done like a musical review, like an Ain't
Yeah.
Misbehaving kind of approach
Mhm,
to
mhm,
the
mhm.
to the songs, and not even because I thought the conceit of like him getting interviewed and that whole thing was kind of
Yeah.
weak, I thought. But
Yeah.
um so there was a side of me that was just like, I wish it was just kind of the songs and the choreography, and they didn't even
Yeah.
try with like a narrative to weave
Like,
it
don't
together.
bother. You don't need it.
Yeah, that it was just sort of a review. I think that might have
Yeah.
been better, but
Yeah.
I do think if that's what they were trying to do, I don't know if there's a better way that you could really do it with
Yeah.
his life and what's going on, unless you wanted it to
Yeah.
be really dark,
Right. Yeah.
so
Which I don't think is the
yeah,
direction that most people would want.
yeah. Speaking of really dark, my next one is really dark, and I knew when I suggested it as my sub out for Frozen in our high school episode that people would lose their minds, and they did. But I have Fun Home, and I didn't know that I was like the world champion of Fun Home, but I'm happy to take that banner because it's an incredible show. And people had some good points that, yeah, it has a way smaller cast and there are things that wouldn't be a good sub out, but I do think thematically it has some. And in my defense, I said that it was a wild pick and that nobody would do it, and that it was
You want,
uh,
like, and this is the standard for all
yeah.
schools.
I was like, maybe a progressive school, but and I gave two other possible suggestions. It's not like I but I do think Fun Home is an incredible show. It's very emotionally true to somebody's life experience, and even if you have a very different life experience, which I do, you can't. I don't see how you can't be moved by somebody being so vulnerable. And I got to give the Bechdel. I've got to give
Mhm.
Allison a ton of credit for allowing her and her whole family, everybody involved, like to be so vulnerable to the whole world. I mean, because it started with her book, her
Yeah.
graphic novel, and so
Yeah.
I got to give them all huge credit, because that would not be easy to put all that out there.
Um, First of all, that was said like so beautifully and eloquently. And I also think that for me, as someone who coaches young actors, the amount of times, and I mean this in a good way, that I have heard Ring of Keys and got to see young young girls get to express themselves through that song when like before, like look, when we were growing up, it was like Tomorrow. I'm not saying that's not great too. We have some fun songs from Matilda. We have things like this, but I've gotten to
Yeah.
see young actors take that role of little Allison, and whether they've played her in a production or they've worked on Ring of Keys, I've gotten to see them grow and express their vulnerability. And I think honestly, I think it's changed them in the sense that they get to think about what this interaction is and what it means. And I think it makes them more introspective and
Yeah.
sensitive. So, I mean, this one isn't on my list because crazily enough, I have not seen Fun Home.
Mm,
But I think what it has done for the landscape of musical theater, particularly young actresses, is incredible.
yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, what do you have at 8?
I think this one's my seven, I think.
Oh, okay. Sorry. What do
Is
you
that
have
right?
at 7?
Wait, is that right? Or am I wrong?
Yeah. Oh, that's right.
Oh, okay.
MJ was your 8.
Okay, okay,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
wanted to make
Sorry.
sure.
So what do
No,
you
because
have? What do you have at 7?
at 7, I have Beautiful, the Carole King musical.
I have that at
Um,
7 too.
really?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, this one's great. I didn't know
Yeah.
what to Rachel, when I went to see this, I didn't know all the songs that Carole King was responsible for. So this
I
whole thing
didn't
was just amazing.
either. I
Right?
mean, this was way better than I thought it was going to be. I was expecting to be kind of bored, and it was just
Same.
it was a better story. It was a better, it provided some unpredictability because it was not only the songs that she had sung, like Tapestry. You expect to hear all those songs, but the songs that she'd written, and there were so many more
Yes.
than I thought. Plus, they had the co-writers, their friends, and some of their songs. So that was surprising, that to have those in there, and so many songs. What a beast of a show this is to put on. Oh my gosh.
Michelle.
But yeah,
I love that
I
you
liked
said
it
that.
way better than I thought I was going to.
Same. I don't know why, Rachel. I had the same experience where I did think I was going to be bored. I don't know why. But I thought that, and then I was just so blown away. So yeah, I really love Beautiful.
Yeah, well, I think the reason why we thought is because a lot of these, I was kind of bored with MJ, and like a lot of times these bio musicals are kind of boring,
Yeah.
because the thing
Yeah.
is that most of our lives, the nuts and bolts is kind of boring, of
Yeah.
like getting a album made might sound very exciting, but it's actually just kind of, going to the studio and saying, like, it's not that exciting. And so I think that's where it becomes difficult, and especially when the musical biopic, as far as movies, have become, there's such a predictability to them, like, oh, here's the
Yes.
drugs, here's the, wait for it, that even adds to, like, the exciting things can feel routine and by the book, and because everybody else has the same exciting things happen to them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because you're like, okay, I'm going to check these boxes. Yeah.
Yeah. Be like, oh, here's the heroin,
Yes.
or the
We
stuff.
know it's coming.
Yeah. So, all right. So yeah, I had that at 7. What do you have at 6?
Come From Away.
Mm.
I was like, do you have it at 6 too? No,
No, I have it coming up though.
you have it
Yeah.
coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I just really love this. Remember seeing this and just being so captivated by the way they were able to take a national, international tragedy like 9/11, and instead of it being this huge epic, well, it is epic because the stories of people, that's what I'm most interested in. And I just
Mhm.
remember thinking it was so simply and beautifully staged in a way that was so surprising and wonderful to me. I absolutely think the show is one that everyone should see.
Yeah, yeah. I'll talk about it in a bit, but it is if you want to see a show about humanity, if you're feeling discouraged about humanity, this is the show to see. It will make you
Yes,
feel hope. It's a very hopeful show, I think.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, very much so.
So I have at 6, I have 1776
Oh yeah.
and 6. It's kind of gotten replaced by Hamilton in some ways, but it's really good, and a great way to get familiar with the events of the Continental Congress and everything going on 1776. And it has some great songs. Sit Down, John. He plays the violin. That's a favorite of mine.
Hmm.
And those are probably my 2 favorite songs, but some really good songs. The movie is quite good. It has most of the Broadway cast, the original Broadway cast. So you can go and enjoy that. William Daniels is in the movie playing John Adams. So you should check that out, and it's a great way to understand history.
Yeah.
What do you have a 5?
Um, 5, even though it's fictional, it has a lot of real historical figures. I have Ragtime. You've
Mm.
got Booker T. Washington, Emma
Yeah,
Goldman, Henry Ford, Evelyn Nesbit.
I'm fine with including
You are
that.
okay.
Yeah. I considered it. I've talked about it. I do think it's a little overcrowded, but it has some beautiful
Yeah.
songs, and is a great way to look at history. So I can
Yeah. I
understand
mean,
that.
Your Daddy's Son and Wheels of a Dream. I'm like, just play that
Mhm.
on loop for me for the rest of my life. So yeah, that is for me. I feel like a solid number 5. I know what you're saying about how it is very crowded. I mean, even all those historical figures I just mentioned, that's already like a lot going
Yeah.
on. But yeah, I really love the time.
Yeah. My number 5 is actually, I have Jersey Boys at 5. And, I'd heard about this, but I had never seen it until last year. And I finally got a chance to see it. And I was like, okay, I get it. I get why this became a phenomenon, because what I think it does so well is that it doesn't take itself super seriously. It has a little bit of a sense of humor, which a lot of these kind of jukebox musicals are like, oh, we're telling this like really intense like story. And whereas I think that makes Jersey Boys way more watchable and rewatchable and
Yes.
entertaining, because especially the one boy, when he gets his chance, when he's like, okay, it's my turn. That his arc is very entertaining. The backup
Yes.
singer one, that's really
Yes.
good. And so I just found it delightful. The music's obviously great, but I was more entertained than I expected, and really liked the characters and the story more than I thought I would.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
love it too.
yeah. And the movie sucks. Don't see the
I've not
movie.
seen it.
No good. Like, I don't know what they were thinking, getting Clint Eastwood to direct. Why on earth would he be the
Wait, is
one?
that who directed Jersey Boys?
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Yeah. And I respect the fact that they wanted to have the original cast, but sometimes that just doesn't work. Like, I understand why they wanted to do that for Rent, but that was a really bad decision, because at that point they were all way too old for the parts. But I understand that impulse and wanting to do that. Obviously, with Dear Evan Hansen, that backfired massively. So don't always do that. That's not always the correct. It's not like more artistically. What's most artistically significant is casting correctly, not necessarily casting the Broadway cast, because it's just a different medium.
Yeah,
But
it seems so strange to me too, because it's like you want energetically what that person who maybe originated the role brought to it, but
yeah,
you need to find like another way. Like they just
and
shouldn't be doing that.
the movie just doesn't have that spirit of fun that makes the musical so
Yeah.
effective. It takes it
Yeah.
seriously, and it's just not.
hmm
It's no good. So what do you have at 4?
Ice Parade. Um,
Oh yeah, I haven't seen that.
oh, I love it, Rachel. It's based on the 1913 trial of Leo Frank in Atlanta. And I think that it's there's a lot of very difficult subject matter. But the songs are just incredible. And um I've not seen the tour and I've not seen it on Broadway, but I've seen several regional productions. And I mean, the acting is always so compelling. Every production I've seen has just been incredible. So I really think it is just such a moving and interesting show that I walk away just feeling like richer for having had the experience.
Yeah. So my number 4 is where I actually have a chorus line, and I debated about whether to include this, because it's not it's about it's not about like one particular person, but it's what they did is they did all of these interviews of people in the chorus line, and then they took those interviews and then they made it into the musical. So it's like
That definitely counts.
it's based on a true story, but like we don't know. I don't think we know who those people are, or I don't know. So if like it's a little bit of a gray area, I can understand, but it's certainly based on true experiences. So I think it counts, but it's just so entertaining. I mean, just it feels emotionally true, and it entertains you on every level. It'll make you laugh, it'll make you cry. Paul's monologue is one of the best
Oh,
pieces of writing in the history of Broadway, in my opinion. And it's got obviously great choreography, because they're literally dancers. They're all dancers. And so yeah, I mean, so many iconic songs, and it's weird because could something be more beloved than Chorus Line? But I still feel like when people are talking about the great Broadway musicals, the masterpieces, I feel like it doesn't
yeah.
get brought up as much as it should. And I just love it. It is such a great show.
Yeah, Chorus Line is incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible show.
So what do you have at 3?
For 3, I have Evita. Based on Life of Ava Peron. I
Yeah.
remember my mom, that was the first musical my mom ever saw on Broadway years ago. I remember her telling me about it growing up, and she would play Don't Cry for Me, Argentina. And then I got the opportunity to see my friend who was in the ensemble for the revival, and now Rachel Ziegler is doing it on the West End. I mean, I just think that this is such a compelling story, and the songs are bangers.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and it's one of Andrew Lloyd Webber's better musicals, I would say.
Yeah,
Evita. Yeah.
yeah,
All right.
definitely.
My number 3, and this might be controversial. I have Hamilton at number 3. And I think that Hamilton is incredible. It's an incredible experience, great songs, fresh, innovative, new, all those things. And also just how much history he tells within the musical. I mean, it covers his entire life, and in pretty great detail as well. I mean, and it doesn't leave out much. I mean, I'm no historical expert, but really it covers a lot of ground from the Revolution all the way, till the duel, and great. So many great moments, and I love King George so much, hilarious, and You'll Be Back is great. So
Jonathan Groff.
very entertaining, and but the other two that I have higher are just a little bit more emotionally, I connect with emotionally a little bit more than Hamilton, but it's great. I mean, I will never uh deny an opportunity to see Hamilton. It's wonderful. So yeah, if you get a chance to see it, I certainly will see it on the big screen. And if you get a chance, I highly recommend it.
You know what's going to be more controversial? Not me over here realizing that I didn't put Hamilton on my list, but just like I something in my brain knowing the reason why we were doing this, and I'm like, well, so obviously, guys, please don't come for me. I made a mistake. It's definitely there. Um, my
Now but have you seen it?
I've I've not no, I've not seen Hamilton, but like
Oh,
I've
okay.
listened to all the songs, and I feel like because I put Teen on, I should have put Hamilton on.
Yeah.
But that's the
So
thing. I actually haven't seen Hamilton.
and so you didn't even watch the pro shot on Disney
No,
Plus? Oh, okay.
no.
Well, I have to say, like, I will always have a special affection for Hamilton because they did that.
Yeah.
Disney doesn't do that many sort of magnanimous. I mean, they're a corporation; they're trying to make money. I get it, but the fact that they did that in June of 2020, when Broadway was closed, and my poor theater heart was suffering, they gave us Hamilton. I'll always be grateful to them for that. That was a
Yeah.
gift, and I'm so glad that that they did that. And I do think I mean, I always liked it, but I had never seen it. So get a chance to see it at that time was especially sweet and lovely. So I'm grateful
Yeah.
they did that. So what do you have at 2?
Uh, 2, I have Gypsy. This is one of
Mm,
my all-time favorite musicals. It's inspired by the memoirs of
yeah.
the burlesque performer Gypsy Rose Lee. Um, I did it in community theater years ago. And then I remember in a Sondheim seminar I took in college, one of my teachers was like, this is the perfect book. It is the perfect book musical because all the songs are coming so organically out of the story. The story itself is performative. Like when you're having all the strippers, especially in the song, get yourself a gimmick, they're performing for her. Like it is such an organic way to tell this story, um because they're all performers. And I love this. I've got to see it twice with Audra, and 2 of my students were in it. So I really really love Gypsy. I just think it is
Yeah.
such a delightful show, and getting to see Audra in it was iconic.
Yeah, I'd love to see that eventually.
Oh, you will. You will
Yeah,
see it.
eventually.
I'm
I
sure.
just haven't seen it, but I'd love to. My number two is actually Where I've Come From Away. I think this is a perfect musical. I mean, it is. I'm so excited when it becomes available for community theater because I think it will be such a wonderful show. Not only it has a large cast and has such heart and soul, but also it has almost no like sets. No, it should be very,
Yeah.
very easy for community theaters to do it. So when it does become,
I think it should be very easy, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
when it does become available, I think it'll be a huge hit and very wonderful for them to do. But just such a great show about humanity, the goodness in this dark time that the best in people came out. And it's not, I don't think, too hallmarky, to use
No.
that. They have rough edges, they have prejudices, they have but that's all part of the humanity of it is during this dark time can we come together, can we support each other with all our differences, and just a beautiful I really I can't think of anything I would change about it. It is a perfect show.
Yeah, I agree with you that I agree. I don't think it's too hallmarky at all. I think it is just a lovely, lovely story with people, like you said, like their edges, but that, the faith in humanity.
Yeah, you know what, the one I just realized that I forgot that I do actually really really love is Catch Me If You Can. That
Oh
one is based on a true
yeah.
story. I do love that. I think it's very underrated. A really catchy songs, good story, entertaining. So I might put that as my 3 part B.
I was gonna say it's so funny. Like I'm looking at my list now and I'm like, what have I missed? Oops.
Yeah, yeah. It's I always that usually when I'm making lists that happens. I always like, oh, I can't believe I forgot about that one.
Yeah, right, right. And then we're in the middle of it and you realize you forgot Hamilton.
Yeah. So what's your number one?
My number one is the Scottsboro Boys. I
Oh,
saw this in 2013 at Steppenwolf. And was it 2013? I'm trying to remember. I think it was in 2013. And I just remember being gobsmacked and blown away. It's the story of the wrongful conviction of 9 Black men in Alabama in the 1930s. And it is,
it's a musical?
yeah,
Oh,
it
I
is
haven't heard of that.
incredible. Like it is, I just remember watching it and it was one of those times where I'm like, this is so amazing what theater can do. So I highly recommend it for people that um have the opportunity to see it. I haven't seen it since. I would love to see it again.
Well, my number one, if you've been following this podcast, we did a whole deep dive episode into it, into the movie, because I love it so much. It's Tick Tick Boom is my number one. I saw it at the Kennedy Center last year and blew me away. Incredible. And I think where I connect with this so much is that Jonathan's journey as a creative and like him wanting to put this out there and people don't want it and being
Yes.
frustrated with that. Like I connect with that so much because I have my own creative outputs, things that I'm trying to do, and I think they're of value, but sometimes people don't want it, and that's hard, and it's hard to, but also that's part of the experience of being a
Yeah.
creative, is that that's going to happen. And I just so emotionally bonded with this story, and I think it has so many great songs, and I just love it.
Yeah. Oh, gosh, that's another one that I'm like, I wish it was on my list. It's an embarrassment of riches over here, you guys.
Yeah.
There are a lot of
But
good
you probably
musicals.
haven't seen it because it's not performed that
No,
often.
but I do love the movie.
Yeah,
Love
yeah.
the movie.
The
I mean,
movie is
Andrew
so
Garfield, get
good.
out of here with that. He's
Yeah,
so
he
good.
was robbed. He should have won the Oscar for that role.
Yes. She was
Not Will
so
Smith.
good.
Will Smith. Who is even talking about that movie anymore? Nobody.
Wait, what movie was that that
It
Will
was
Smith won for
it
that
was
year?
King Richard about the
Right.
about Venus and Serena,
Yes.
you
Yes.
know, which it was fine. It was a fine
Yeah.
movie,
Yeah.
but nothing special. Nobody's talking about it now like they're Tick Tick Boom. So,
Tick tick
but
boom.
it was so good. And Lin-Manuel did a great job with that directing for his first debut movie that he'd ever directed. I think it was really impressive.
Yeah. Yeah. Incredible.
Mhm. So, what you think of our lists and our picks, and which ones we missed that you think should be on this list or talked about? We'd love to hear in the comment section. And make sure you're checking out On Stage Blog all over the place. We have pretty much daily articles, some really good stuff. So, we definitely recommend you taking a look at that. And the playlist of all of our episodes of On Stage Blog Theater podcast. And Jax, how can people find you?
Jacqueline Collier on Instagram.
You can find me at Rachel's Reviews all over the place, including rachelsreviewstheater.com. So check that out. And again, check out On Stage Blog all over the place. And thanks so much, everybody. And we'll talk to y'all later. Bye.
Bye.